guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called The Swedish Submarine That Sank a US Aircraft Carrier. Aren't those things super massive? How does a submarine sinks a huge, I don't know, an aircraft carrier? I don't know, maybe it's huge, I don't know, we're about to find out, I guess. So let's check it out and comment, like and subscribe.
Brand new, nuclear powered, capable of carrying twice as many aircraft as most competing foreign carriers,
Okay.
and protected by an entire task force. The $6.2 billion USS Ronald Reagan seemed invincible,
That's a lot of money.
leading up to an international wargame exercise in 2005.
Oh my god.
It was a stunning blow then, and a complete shock, when against all odds, a super stealth submarine from Sweden snuck past the USS Ronald Reagan's defenses and scored enough mock torpedo hits to sink it during multiple attack runs.
Okay, during multiple attack runs, so it didn't happen all at once. I think it's crazy still.
The Americans never saw it coming, and never saw it leave.
That's so much money wasted. That's crazy to me. And why, honestly, thinking about this, why would a Swedish submarine would want to sink a US aircraft carrier? This is confusing.
The USS Ronald Reagan is one of 10 Nimitz-class aircraft carriers in the possession of the U.S. Navy. The nuclear-powered vessel...
It's kind of funny, only 10, but I know these things are massive and incredibly expensive, but still, I thought they had more. I don't know.
...uses two A4W pressurized water reactors, rather than the gas turbines or diesel-electric systems commonly used for warship propulsion.
Okay.
These reactors, like the majority of nuclear power plants, use water as a primary coolant, which is pumped to the core under high pressure, where it's heated by fission energy. It then goes into a steam generator, and is finally transferred to a secondary system, where steam causes turbines to move, and by extension gets an electric generator to spin. The nuclear-powered ship counts on 4 propeller shafts, which produce a maximum power of 260,000
Oh my god, are those real size? Those are bigger than I thought.
shaft horsepower, for a top speed of 30 knots, or 56 kilometers per hour. Since the vessel uses nuclear energy, it can operate for an estimated 20 years without refueling, and has an intended service life of around 50 years.
Okay, 50 years, I think, okay, you get a good investment. They're expensive, but they're gonna last a long time. And so I think 20 years without recharging or whatever, that's okay. So in the worst case scenario, those days are still gonna be standing in the case of, I don't know, the apocalypse.
The aircraft carrier is capable of taking with it up to 90 aircraft, while the next largest non-American supercarrier, HMS Queen Elizabeth, can carry 70.
Oh my god.
The supercarrier is normally defended by escorting destroyers and even the aircraft it carries, and it's also armed with the infrared homing surface-to-air missile system RIM-116.
Oh my god, this is very scary. Okay, yeah, let's see the submarine. Let's see the other side.
The Gotland submarine is a stealthy, deadly silent, and incredibly cheap war machine.
Oh, it's cheap.
First introduced in 1996, this type of submarine was the first to use an air-dependent propulsion, or AIP system, in the form of a Stirling engine.
Okay, it's bigger than I thought, I have to say.
Stirling engines use a closed cycle of compression and expansion of air so that they can provide thermal energy. Liquid oxygen supports the diesel combustion that drives the cycle, and in the case of the Gotland, it energizes a 75 kilowatt battery.
How big is that battery?
The AIP system is incredibly silent in comparison to traditional diesel submarines, which in the past were viewed as inefficient because they can only stay underwater for a few days before resurfacing, resulting in increased vulnerability.
Okay, to me, a few days, that seems like a lot, but apparently it isn't. Okay, good to know.
The Stirling engine, though, allows the Gotland-class submarines, of which Sweden has a total of 3, to remain underwater for 2 weeks, traveling at 6 miles an hour. The diesel engine is only turned on while using the snorkel or surfacing. Aside from its engine, the Gotland submarine is packed with features intended to make it undetectable.
Okay, yeah, because it's not just about the sound. It can be very silent, but still I think they have radars and stuff. So even if it's basically the noiseless, they're still going to know you're coming.
27 electromagnets are distributed around the watercraft, so that magnetic anomaly detectors will miss its magnetic signature. Furthermore,
okay, how come no one's doing it? Or is this common? I have no idea. Everyone should do this.
Is coated in sonar-resistant material and the interior is soundproofed by rubber buffers.
Sonar resistant? I had no idea that existed.
A passive sonar, the most common type used for warships, will have a very difficult time picking up the presence of a Gotland-class submarine.
Oh, wow.
The Swedish sub is also easily maneuverable because of the 6 maneuvering surfaces on the rudder and sail, which allow it to swim almost on the sea floor as it advances and even manages sharp turns.
The sea floor? Okay, it depends on when you are. If you're in the Mariana Trench, well, no, I doubt that it can go that low. But why would you want to go to the ocean floor? I don't know, this seems crazy. That's way too deep.
Some of the downsides of an AIP diesel submarine are that, unlike the nuclear-powered ones, it can't go on for months without surfacing, nor can it sustain a high speed for long.
Okay.
Which means that it can be most effectively used for ambushing a fleet whose position's been identified already.
Oh my, okay.
Or to defend bases in littoral waters.
Ambush?
An open chase, or uncertain threat, may be better faced by nuclear-powered submarines. While the $300 to $400 million price tag may seem attractive, the U.S. Navy has repeatedly dismissed the option of obtaining submarines similar to the Gotland class,
Why?
as most of the Navy's operations take place far away from the continental United States. It would be extremely difficult for a threat to approach the nation's territory without some sort of preemptive response by vessels already stationed at sea.
Oh, okay.
Gotland-class submarines are generally viewed as more suitable for coastal defense.
Makes sense. Yeah, not open waters.
War games are military exercises for which resources are deployed in a simulation of what an actual confrontation could look like. These exercises provide practice.
Okay, but it's an extra. People do this for real? I thought it was just computer simulated.
For soldiers, pilots, and crew members, as well as an exploration of strategies, weaknesses, combat readiness, and the effects of warfare on a particular area without actually firing any shots or putting anyone's life at risk.
Hopefully. It's a game.
Coordinating a war game with another country, or several more, allows for testing of different technologies, consideration of...
This is insane. We're playing war games with different countries. Okay, that seems dangerous.
...foreign tactics, and may serve to show the military might of the nations involved.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be bad if I ever go to war with one of the other countries. They'll know my strategies and stuff. I don't know.
In 2004, the American government asked to lease the HSWMS Gotland for a year so it could conduct anti-submarine warfare exercises.
Oh, that's crazy. You can
Starting
do that?
in June of 2005, the U.S. Navy and the Swedish Navy began collaborating in training exercises in the San Diego area.
Oh.
In a press release by the U.S. Navy from the 3rd Fleet Public Affairs, Swedish Liaison Officer Lieutenant Commander Peter Ostbring shared, quote, "We are deployed here for at least 1 year and will conduct up to 160 training days at sea, supporting strike groups, individual ships, and rescue submarines, and participating in the tests and development of new equipment."
Yeah, they wanted to study it.
During international exercises,
so big.
such as those of Sweden and the United States, the national forces will not always be in opposition to one another. Different vessels will trade places or act in different capacities so as to assess the most mutually beneficial tactics of cooperation and to test how nations may fare against their own technologies.
Yeah, of course.
Speaking of the HSWMS Gotland submarine, Commander Ostbring also shared some of the ways the submarine was used during one of these war games. Quote, "Initially, it was acting as an opposing force, and in the middle of the exercise, she acted as a green, friendly force submarine, like a third country in a coalition, doing intelligence and reconnaissance missions for the strike group. Later,
I love they speak about her as if she was a person and it's a submarine.
She returned to being an opposing force. The HSWMS Gotland has played a key role in enhancing the tactical and strategic prowess of the Navy, but it surprised the United States when during one of the war games, it managed to theoretically destroy the powerful USS Ronald Reagan.
Theoretically, not for real, okay. If it's all in theory, and obviously it's not in practice, how do they know it would have destroyed it?
The sinking of the USS Ronald Reagan fortunately featured no financial or human losses, as it was an unexpected accomplishment by the HSWMS Gotland during the game between the U.S. Navy
Oh, because it did happen. It did sink, but it was okay because it was well controlled.
and the Swedish Navy. The USS Reagan was escorted by a carrier task force, including several anti-submarine vessels. Stealthily,
This is the first time I'm hearing they're anti-submarine vessels. I have no idea what they do.
the Swedish submarine snuck past all of them, not once but on multiple attack runs, each time retreating undetected. Points were scored each time the Gotland was able to take close-up photographs of the carrier, simulating the distance from which it would have been able to shoot.
Oh.
The small diesel-powered submarine used its silent Stirling engine and quiet sonars to go undetected by the passive sonars of its adversaries, swimming right past the rest of the vessels not only during that exercise, but throughout the 2 years of collaborative war games. Nuclear-armed submarines, destroyers, and carriers were all bested repeatedly, with reports of American anti-submarine military officers and research specialists feeling demoralized and slightly humiliated by the experience.
Well, yeah, it would be humiliating. You're this big, huge thing, and you're being bested by this smaller, cheaper kind of vessel. It's crazy.
The result of the war game served to inform and improve the technologies and techniques employed by both countries, with the United States Navy recognizing that its armaments were not particularly effective to combat diesel-electric submarines, which are held not only...
Well, but it's good. It's recognizing that, you know what, you're better than me. Now I know how I can improve this.
Only by Sweden, but by antagonistic nations.
Yeah.
The HSWMS Gotland had virtually managed to destroy the undefeated USS Ronald Reagan and established itself as an incredibly valuable military asset.
Yeah, but not so indestructible now. Oh, they asked for more?
One important consideration for the United States following the virtual sinking of the USS Ronald Reagan was that Sweden is not the only country implementing the Stirling engines in their submarines.
Oh.
China has 2 types of these, with a planned stock
Okay, if it's not the only country, I'd be scared.
of 35 partially completed. In fact, Beijing has a Type 032 Qing submarine capable of firing off cruise missiles and ballistic missiles,
Oh my
which
god.
is believed to be the largest diesel submarine in operation.
It looks so big.
Russia, America's eternal adversary, has ordered 2 Lada-class diesel-electric attack submarines scheduled for completion by 2022. AIP systems are also present in submarines acquired by India and Pakistan, which are constantly in tension with one another.
Okay. So basically everyone has a submarine. This is what I'm getting.
American allies such as Spain, South Korea, France, Japan, Israel, and Germany have also developed or purchased similar submarines.
Okay.
In fact, France is working on the SMX Ocean, a supersized AIP diesel submarine, which promises to be a functional alternative to nuclear-powered submarines. With evidence of its...
Obviously, I had no idea about this. I think, well, previously I thought that submarines were sort of old-timey and nobody used this kind of things anymore.
carriers' weak spots.
In war and stuff, in conflicts.
But the Navy decided to ask the Swedes to lease them a Gotland-class submarine to study how to counter its stealth mechanisms.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that America will most likely remain at peace with the majority of these nations. The Swedish government accepted to lend...
Yeah, well, if one thing, the U.S. is always going to do one thing, and it's just prepare for war, even imaginary or real.
Its HSWMS Gotland commanded and manned beyond the original year-long sets of war games for an additional 12 months, allowing the United States to figure out strategies to combat it, and whether it should acquire a similar submarine.
Yeah.
Although after extensive research, the Navy concluded that it preferred to continue using and developing nuclear-powered submarines.
Oh.
The Pentagon saw little use for diesel-electric watercraft, since the majority of patrolling operations are done near Asian and European waters, meaning that traversing oceans...
Yeah, but how are they going to defeat it?
...from the United States would require constant refueling.
It's not practical.
In fact, when the Gotland itself was returned to Sweden, it was actually shipped on a mobile dry dock instead of being transported under its own power. Still, the United States Navy learned valuable lessons from seeing its massive supercarrier and accompanying fleet be bested by a small, Swedish diesel-electric submarine.
Wow.
Today,
you can never be that sure how you're going to win.
The U.S. remains wary of further technological improvements, particularly by China, that may increase the range of these silent subs and threaten U.S. patrols in the seas around Asia.
I'd be scared too. Okay, so seriously, I had no idea that submarines were such a big deal in the world of, I don't know, conflicts, people preparing for wars. I don't know, it's kind of crazy because, I don't know, conflicts and obviously in war as in the actual sort of battle or, in an actual battle. I don't know, because I think I've seen films and I think in movies, I think it's generally just, I'm trying to think it's just one vessel against another vessel if it's just sort of, if the battle's happening in the ocean. But I've never seen a film, I think, or in shows or something, or media, I've never seen, a submarine sort of appears and they're trying to sink this boat. Well, this is not this boat, but I'm not going to call it a boat, this ship. I think again, maybe it's just again that's just media and that's my only reference, and I've never, and that's why I have the wrong idea how these things go. I think in real life, but again, I had no idea that apparently submarines are huge. They're huge. They're a huge asset in modern life, and for countries they spend a lot of money actually getting submarines because I thought well, when they're preparing and when countries have sort of the war budget, their weapons budget, and they're trying to, we all countries I think have this. They're preparing for war or conflicts, and of course they have I think the airplanes and obviously the ships and stuff. But I would think well they have helicopters, they have the ships, they have obviously I'm talking about the equipment. And yes, and those giant ships. But I think maybe, you have to invest in planes. I wouldn't think, you have to invest in a submarine. But apparently, again, that's why I'm not a president of a country. No, apparently you have to invest as well on submarines. Although I get that it's not just one size fits all. Because it works for Sweden and good for them. They have this incredible weapon. But as the U.S. proved us, it was, I mean, we actually did our research, and just because it did manage to, in this imaginary sort of war game, it would have defeated us, but we are still not going to invest money into either buying one of these things or building them because it's not, it's not practical for us. So I think ultimately what this goes to show is that even though they have this type of submarine is great, it's incredible, it's amazing, but maybe it's not really sort of worthwhile for all countries. It just depends on whether or not you have your sort of naval bases, or where, I don't know what kind of conflict you have, or probably what sort of location you have, because maybe all countries have international waters, right? Yeah, but maybe some others don't have that much water, sort of there are like landlocked states as well. But maybe if you don't have that much water, your country, maybe it's, why would I invest money into getting a submarine? It's maybe not that worth it. Or maybe, no, I have my naval bases there and and they're so good that I think, why would I get, what would I have this if anything actually breaks past this point of my sort of naval bases and stuff, then we are in big trouble. I don't know. I think, again, that's why that people do this. I guess people obviously do this for a living and not me, so I have no idea. But I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know what I would do. But it is interesting to me that it's not just enough to be, I'm gonna buy the most expensive sort of equipment, or the one, hey, bring me a report of the biggest stories of success of all these equipments, and it's in this case, no, you really do have to analyze and see if it works for your country or your particular situation. And I think also it depends on who you're fighting with. Because I'm wondering, okay, so apparently Sweden has this sort of, this stealth submarine, but other countries have this as well. I think China and I think Russia as well. So what would happen if two countries sort of go and start fighting against each other, but both of them have these two, submarines? Is okay. Why? I don't know who would win. I don't know. It's crazy because in this case, we have the comparison, and we know how it would fare poorly against this huge aircraft carrier. But I don't know what would happen if you fought against another submarine, and not just another submarine of this sort, but maybe another type of submarine. How would it do? I don't know. Would love to know if it comes out on top, if they're similar. I don't know if the war games have been simulated in comparing those two submarines. But still, it's crazy. I didn't know about the war games concept. I thought, I don't know, they did this all computer. It was all simulated, but I didn't know countries actually did this, and the military also did this. I know that as the military, they do exercises, but I didn't know. No, they actually sort of do this whole thing where they sort of, there's another country and they simulate a conflict, and I don't know, I didn't know that was a thing. I guess I'd be kind of scared to participate if I were. No, I would participate if the countries are, if I trust in the countries and they're my allies. However, I do think it's a little, I don't know, we do show all your cards, because even though it's your ally, who knows if in 3 years, 5 years, they stop being your allies, and I don't know, they're going to know what sort of equipment I have and what sort of my my strategies and I don't know what sort of my I don't know, because I guess it's sort of like a chess game. So they're going to know again what you have to offer and what you sort of what cards are you holding basically. So I'm wondering if they do this, they when they do war games, they go all out and they don't really care. They throw caution to the wind and they say, yes, I have all of these things and I want to try them to see how they would fare in real life. But or no, or if you kind of keep some things as saying no, this is I have the element of surprise. So in case I ever go on a conflict for real, I'm gonna keep this hidden just because I don't want anyone to know. I'm wondering how they go. I always say that strategy as well, but yeah, I would love to know how they go around this. And ultimately, I think this is a lesson. And of course, this huge aircraft carriers, I think in the US, with this whole military complex, you see this and it's quite intimidating because it's this huge thing and it's this huge sort of equipment, this huge thing. And I have no chance against one of these things because it's enormous. But then you get this smaller submarine, still is incredibly huge. It would be incredibly intimidating to see this in real life. But still, for my point, it's way smaller, it's way cheaper. And you would think, oh, of course, I'm the underdog. Sometimes it pays to root for the underdog because you know what? Sometimes, again, cheaper, smaller, and maybe smarter is better. Not that the aircraft carrier doesn't have a bunch of, I don't know, I would assume a lot of technological things that are great. But you know what? Again, sometimes, the underdog is the one that wins. So great lesson. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.